Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news.
Revelations that Oban's chair did not sign his own signature raises red flags for the opposition.
Several men charged in the magistrate's court for several murders that occurred over the past few months.
A Bahamian legend laid to rest. That story straight ahead.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, a new video has revealed that non-executive chair of Oban Energies, Peter Krieger, did not use his own signature when he signed a heads of agreement with government officials last month for the $5.5 billion oil refinery project on East Grand Bahama. Opposition leaders are questioning whether it was a fake deal and why the Oban president was not present for the signing of such a major agreement. Fanique Toot reports.
Opposition leader Philip Brave Davis says revelations that Oban's non-executive chair Peter Krieger did not sign his own name during a heads of agreement signing with government officials last month puts a black eye on the multi-billion-dollar project. He's now questioning if it was a fake deal.
The saga continues, and it clearly reveals the capacity of the persons that now hold office. It calls into question their credibility, and not only their credibility, but their fitness to govern. There's no doubt that this saga reveals some troubling traits.
On February 19th, Peter Krieger signed what government officials claimed was a heads of agreement for the $5.5 billion oil refinery project on Grand Bahama. However, a NASA Guardian video revealed that Krieger did not sign his own name, but rather what appears to be the name Satpal Dunna, who was Oban's president. Krieger did not indicate he was signing for Dunna, who was not present at the televised press conference. Davis says when Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis tabled the document in Parliament last week, the opposition questioned why Krieger's name and signature were not on it.
The response was that Krieger never signed the document, and that what was seen on the day in question, on the 19th, was a ceremonial exercise. Well, it appears now that, having looked at the events of that day forensically, that Mr. Krieger did sign, but signed the name that now appears on that document. It really does not speak well of the manner in which this administration is governing the affairs of this country. It brings it's a black eye.
While the heads of agreement Minnis tabled last week contains Dunna's signature, it is not the same signature that Krieger signed at the press conference. When asked what Krieger signed on that day, Press Secretary for the Prime Minister Anthony Newbold said in a statement the heads of agreement tabled had President Satpal Dunna's signature as he is authorized to sign official documents on behalf of the company. Krieger's signing was ceremonial only. It is not clear when Dunna signed the official agreement, which is also dated February 19th. However, the opposition is now calling on the Minnis administration to release the document signed by Krieger.
They are supposed to be a government of transparency. If they are transparent, then they should have told the Bahamian people what was occurring. They have not done so. They've been caught out, and they're now trying to cover up their tracks. Right? For transparency, yes, give us the document that was signed by Mr. Krieger. And if the document you gave us was in fact the document signed by Mr. Krieger, then why would Mr. Krieger be signing the name of Mr. what's his name again?
This isn't the first time Peter Krieger has made news headlines. Last month, it was revealed that Oban's non-executive chair pled guilty to the first-degree felony charge of organized fraud in 2006. It has also been revealed that Krieger was accused of violating federal securities laws in the United States in 2005. The opposition leader says while they all want the best for Grand Bahama, this latest development regarding Krieger raises serious red flags.
We embraced the project, right? But of course, the project is just one thing. The personalities behind the project, right, is the key to it being successful. This truly raises the question as to whether or not this is a real deal or it's just a fake deal.
Given the magnitude of the multi-billion-dollar project, Davis also questioned why OBAN's president was not present at that press conference. Reporting for our news, I'm Vonique Toot.
Well, Sir Durward Knowles was laid to rest this afternoon in front of hundreds of family, friends, and admirers. Jared Higgs attended the homegoing service and filed this report.
I have fallen on my knees.
They came from near and far to remember the life of a man who needs little introduction. Sir Durward Knowles, born in 1917, was remembered as an Olympian, philanthropist, and much more. Cabinet ministers, past and present, family, friends, and other loved ones all gathered to remember the man affectionately called Seawolf. Knowles' daughter, Charlotte Albury, offered a reflection worthy of a father. Full of humor and energy, Albury says her father was fulfilled by his life.
Dad got so much joy from knowing the people from all walks of life. And looking around today, it is quite obvious that you all shared the same sentiment. We know he is looking down with that smile and that twinkle in his eyes and saying, "I done good. With all these people here to celebrate my life." The only thing he would have loved more is if we could have sold ads in the program and used those monies to help one of his charities.
An Olympic gold medalist and the oldest living Olympian, it was only fitting that both the former and current Prime Minister gave remarks to the congregation.
It is presumptuous for me to call Sir Durward my friend. He was 30 years my senior, an accomplished businessman, a model humanitarian, and a patron of worthy causes long before I came to know him personally. But I admired and respected him. He became and remained my friend. Sir Durward could be, and often was, blunt and plain spoken. He was a man whose word one could rely upon. He said what he meant, and he meant what he said.
He constantly reminded us that life is not only about making a living, but more importantly, life is about making a life worth living. He used his privilege to help the underprivileged and the vulnerable. This was a testament to his faith and to his commitment to good citizenship.
One of Knowles' former Olympic sailing partners, Stephen Kelly, also shared fond memories of a man he knew and loved.
In 1975, Sir Durward asked me to crew for him in the World Championships on Lake Michigan, which I happily accepted. This would be my first time sailing with him, and I was honored he would consider me. It proved to be a successful regatta for us, finishing 8 out of 73 boats. There were a few things that were unique about this regatta. First, my father had crewed for Durward in the 1950 World Championships on Lake Michigan. He was 20 years old at the time, and 25 years later, I was crewing for Durward at the same venue, and I was 20 years old.
Knowles leaves behind his wife, Lady Holly, 3 children, Jill, Randy, and Charlotte, 6 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren. He was 100 years old. Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
And more than a week after a security officer was found dead at a seafood processing center after an alleged armed robbery, police have classified it as a murder, and today a 23-year-old was charged. But it was only one of 6 murder arraignments as police hauled several men before the courts. Kyle Joaquin tells us more.
That was concluded and classified as a murder.
And 2 hours later, 2 men would be charged with that murder. 23-year-old Shantino Roll in the gray hoodie racked up a number of charges including murder, armed robbery, shop breaking, stealing, and receiving. It is alleged that on the morning of February 22nd, Roll broke into Gulfstream Food Services, robbed the establishment of bags of crawfish worth $53,000, and killed the security officer. He's also accused of stealing 1,298 pounds of crawfish worth $16,000 from the same establishment prior to this incident. His father, 44-year-old Sean Roll, in the black hoodie, was charged with accessory after the fact, as police allege he assisted Shantino and enabled him to avoid the due process of the law. They were not required to enter a plea. Shantino's attorney told Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt that his client, while at CDU, was kicked in his back, hit in his head with a phone book, and had an officer sit on his stomach while placing a plastic bag over his head. Both men were denied bail and will return to court on April 24th. 27-year-old Stephen Mackey in the green shirt and braids was also charged in the magistrate's court with the February 27th murder of Jenton Smith. He was not required to enter a plea, was denied bail, and will return to court on May 9th. Also charged Monday was 18-year-old Malik Vanander in the gray long-sleeve Ed Hardy shirt. He was charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. He was not required to enter a plea and will be back in court on May 9th as well. Meanwhile, Christopher Blyden in the light blue shirt was charged with the February 9th murder of Rico Taylor and the attempted murder of another. His attorney, DeVar Darling, said he doesn't understand why his client was being brought before the court when video of the incident went viral last week, and one could see that his client was in the video running away for safety. Blyden was denied bail and returns to court on April 12th. Then there was this man, 34-year-old John DeMeritt, who racked up 12 armed robbery charges. He reportedly robbed employees of 12 fast food restaurants, food stores, and pharmacies over the span of a few months, going as far back as May of last year. Now, DeMeritt was not required to enter a plea. He returns to court on April 24th. Reporting from the Magistrates Court for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
25-year-old Jaheel Brown in the long-sleeve black shirt and gray sweatpants pled not guilty to killing in the course of dangerous driving. He's accused of driving the rental vehicle that struck and killed 39-year-old Penny Sierra as she took a morning jog along the Cable Beach Strip last week. He was also charged with driving a vehicle not covered, failing to remain stationary after an accident, and failing to report a traffic accident. The prosecution had no objection to bail, and Magistrate Subusola Swain granted Brown bail in the amount of $7,500. He returns to court on May 18th. Meanwhile, downstairs in Court 9 before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt, 3 men pled guilty to fraud after they were charged with making fraudulent credit card payments to Avis Rental Car, one of which is believed to be the vehicle used in that hit and run. They return to court on Thursday for sentencing. And police are on the hunt for several men wanted for questioning in connection with murder investigations. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez says the men are wanted for questioning in connection with recent murders, as well as some dating several years back.
Kirby Pill. He is from the Bacardi Road area, who was wanted for questioning in reference to a murder. We need your assistance in trying to bring him into custody. Kirby Pear. Romero Roll. He is from the Palm Beach Street area.
Police also looking for 27-year-old Andrew Burrows, also known as Mice, Patrick Goff of Washington Street, and 28-year-old Alfred George of Bozine Town. Fernandez is applauding police as well as community members who made tips leading to the arrest of several of the men charged in court today.
Uniform officers were able to take a high-powered rifle from off the street. Individuals in the Fox Hill area, individuals ran from the police, but that investigation is still ongoing. But we were able to take that off the street. It's a dangerous weapon. It's a dangerous weapon. So we want to, again, thank the members of the public.
Well, nearly 100 people displaced by a massive fire in the mud over the weekend will receive assistance from the Department of Social Services. Acting Director of Social Services Lillian Quant Forbes says 95 people were left homeless as a result of the fire, including more than 24 children.
There were 32 households that were affected, 95 persons, 58 adults, 33 males, 25 females, 37 children, 22 boys, and 15 girls.
Quant Forbes says a temporary shelter was opened at a nearby Seventh-day Adventist church. However, she says that remains empty as it appears those who were displaced have taken shelter with family and friends. But she says there appears to be a need for supplies.
They're in the process now of assessing persons at the Marsh Harbor International Gospel Mission Church today for assistance with any other needs. Take, for instance, it may be food, it may be clothing, it may be other things.
This latest blaze comes after another large fire destroyed several homes in the same shantytown. In late January, nearly 60 homes were destroyed in a fire that raged for nearly 3 hours. It was later found that arson was the cause of that fire. Quant Forbes says the department is still in the process of helping those displaced by January's fire. Still to come on our news, Swellmageddon comes to the Bahamas, plus a new U.S. charge d'affaires is named. That's coming up when our news returns.